Hi, my name is Pat Goodman. I'm here to tell you about the '03 Cabrina Drifter Wave Kite. This is an entirely new drifter design for the '03 season. We started basically from the ground up and redesigned everything about the kite, but still hanging on to the traditional drifter DNA that makes it such a popular down the line wave riding kite. Everything from the construction details to the materials to the internal design, profiles, arc shape, varietal, you name it. It's a ground up, it's a new design. We introduce and integrate some lighter weight materials. We have got rid of all the 2-plies and do 75-gram trailing edge and leading edge transition panels. It has a bi-directional pure profile panels to give you the best transition between the segmented leading edge and the curve of the natural arc shape of the kite. We're using a new lightweight 140-gram Dacron material for the inflated parts, and combined with some other construction details, it's a considerable weight savings. We're using lighter bladders as well, but the new design is much more lively and playful feeling in comparison to the years past. It definitely has a leaner profile. It's not nearly as, let's say, it's not as grunty as it used to be in the days past, but it's still got plenty of low-end power. But the turning speed is significantly faster than before, so it's no problem to generate some power if you're trying to get out of Dodge when a big set's coming. It's available in the same range of sizes, all the way from 4-meter up to 13-meter. Well, the combination of things that make a really good wave riding kite. It's a combination of turning speed, direct and pivoty steering, in conjunction with good drift for down the line riding. You know, you have to have a right balance in the power and the bridling and where the kite sits in the windows, because you need it to sit a little further back in the window for drifting, but you also need it to be able to handle offshore winds and fly forward if need be. You know, so it's kind of with the sheeting of the kite, it's a little progressive in the way it behaves. So if you sheet out, it will fly forward, but if you sheet it in as you down the line in more onshore conditions, it will drift. So that in combination with a lighter construction really makes a difference in how well it drifts, how easy it turns, how light it feels in your hands. Although we do go for a more direct and firm, more of a little bit stiffer steering impulse than we do on some of the other models, particularly because you want it to feel really direct in your hands in the steering, but light in the bar pressure, so you know where the kite is at all times, and it gives you the feedback that you need when you're not really paying attention to the kite visually, and you're doing what you do when you're riding the waves. So a few things also that we've done this year, so we've got rid of the rigid mini battens on the trailing edge, and we're using a foam flexible mini batten here. There's a couple of them on the drifter. They don't break, they don't get crushed up when you roll up the kite. Trying to make for a very surf-worthy kite that can take a beating without having any issues and the minimal amount of breakage that you might get if you're really getting pounded by a big wave. The seam construction is different than before a little bit. We have a much better control over the tension in all the internal canopy seams. Then we have a special construction at the strut where we do a different style of seam that makes it stronger, and it also gives us a much more accurate ability to match the position of the canopy on the leading edge, which is really it's super important to be able to get everything as tidy and tight in the construction as possible. So a lot of people don't pay that kind of attention to the details in the construction, but there's been a lot done to make sure that the kites are super consistent. We have really strict nesting methods in our production markers to make sure that the kites don't have turns. I mean, it's endless how much we've done this year with the factories to make improvements in all these areas. Don't let me scare you, even though that the construction and the actual outline and design in general is completely new from the ground up. It still has the feel of the drifter, and drifter riders from the past will hop right on this and they will migrate with no transition whatsoever, because this kite just feels naturally right in your hands. And if you have a drifter from the past, you can hop right on this kite and you will feel right at home, I promise you. Also, one important thing on the 03 Drifter is the new throttle. The new throttle on the Drifter is much shorter than in the years past. It helps from getting wrapped around the wingtip when you're getting tumbled by a wave. It's also a pulley-less throttle like all the kites in the Cabrina range. This gives you more reliability, durability, and fast, quick, and direct steering response.